Jon Moxley's return to WWE, a declaration of war against Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE fans around the world, what we're about to dive into today is so monumental, so earth-shattering, that you will feel the shockwaves ripple through the very foundation of WWE itself. For months now, we've been hearing whispers, seeing rumors, and wondering what's next in the world of professional wrestling. But no one, not even the most die-hard insiders, could have predicted what just went down. Because today, we are talking about a bombshell that has rocked the wrestling world to its core. What we thought we knew about WWE, the alliances, the betrayals, and the rivalries, it's all been flipped on its head. The WWE Universe was left reeling last night when a ghost from WWE's past emerged, and let me tell you, it wasn't just a surprise return. No. This was a declaration of war. A direct attack on two of WWE's most powerful figures right now, Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. WWE highlights: Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, The Shield, and Jon Moxley. You're asking yourself, who could possibly pull something so bold? Who has the guts to go toe-to-toe with Seth Rollins, the so-called architect of WWE's new era, or Paul Heyman, the so-called wise man of the Bloodline? Well, friends, that man is Jon Moxley, and his return is about to rewrite the future of WWE as we know it. This isn't just another return to the ring. This isn't just about one man's revenge or desire for gold. This is far bigger than that. Moxley is back, but not to fight for a championship. He's back to tear down Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman from the inside out. And trust me, this isn't just personal. It's surgical. It's strategic. And it's only just beginning. So, how did we get here? What led to this shocking twist that no one saw coming? Well, buckle up, because we're about to break it all down. Let's rewind the clock and look at the events that have led to Moxley's dramatic return. Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, the architects of a new era. For months, the WWE Universe has been consumed by the unraveling of the Bloodline. The family that once ruled WWE with an iron fist is now fractured, with Roman Reigns dealing with betrayal from his closest allies. But amidst this chaos, one name has quietly emerged at the center of everything: Paul Heyman. We all know Heyman as the so-called wise man, the genius behind the rise of Roman Reigns. But what many of us didn't realize, or perhaps what we refused to acknowledge, was that Heyman had his own plans. He wasn't just managing Roman. No, he was building something much larger. While Roman's empire was falling apart, Heyman was laying the groundwork for something entirely new, something built on his own ego, ambition, and Machiavellian genius. And who better to be the face of this new regime than Seth Rollins? The self-proclaimed visionary, Seth Rollins had already solidified his place as one of WWE's top superstars. But with Roman Reigns sidelined and CM Punk recovering from an injury, Rollins saw an opportunity to strike. Word has it that Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman have been working together behind the scenes, pulling the strings, forging new alliances, and positioning themselves to dominate WWE's future. Their bond isn't one of loyalty or trust. No, it's one of ego and mutual benefit, each feeding off the other's ambition. But what happens when a former brother, a man who once walked beside Seth Rollins, sees through all of this? What happens when someone from WWE's past returns, not just to pick a side but to burn it all down? Jon Moxley's shocking return. Enter Jon Moxley, the man who once stood alongside Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns in The Shield, the group that defined an era of WWE. But while Rollins and Reigns have both moved on to new heights, Moxley left WWE years ago, seeking a new path in AEW, where he found success, grit, and an unfiltered version of himself. But, something changed last night. Something terrifying. In a dark, untelevised AEW match, the lights in the arena suddenly cut out. Fans were left in confusion, unsure of what was happening. Then, a single spotlight shone on the Titantron, not the stage, not the ring, but the screen itself. And that's when the chills ran down the spine of every wrestling fan in the arena. There he was. Jon Moxley. His face drenched in blood, his eyes cold and emotionless. He stood there in silence for what felt like an eternity, and then, with a voice low and gravelly, he spoke a single sentence that sent shivers through every WWE fan listening. "Paul, I only got one message for you." And then, in a move that stunned the entire wrestling world, Moxley raised something in his hand. A weathered, folded piece of paper. The original Shield contract from 2012. A relic of a brotherhood that once ruled WWE with an iron fist. A contract that symbolized loyalty, unity, and a bond stronger than blood. But Moxley didn't hold it with reverence. He unfolded it carefully, almost tenderly. Then, without hesitation, he lit the contract on fire. The flames flickered in the darkness, turning the contract to ash in his hand. And as the fire consumed the document, the screen went black. The only sound left in the arena was the crackling of fire. Now, can you imagine the chaos that followed backstage? Sources close to WWE report that Paul Heyman, who was watching this moment live, was visibly shaken. Word is that his face turned pale as he stood up and walked out of the building, refusing to speak to anyone. The rumors are rampant that he immediately began making frantic phone calls, trying to piece together what had just happened. This wasn't just some cryptic message. It was a direct declaration of war. And that, my friends, is just the beginning. Moxley's intentions, a surgical attack. What you have to understand is that Jon Moxley's return isn't some chaotic, reckless act. No. This is calculated. This is personal. And Moxley isn't just looking for revenge. No, he's after something far more dangerous, to tear Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman apart from the inside out. The burning of the Shield contract was a symbolic act, a signal to both Rollins and Heyman that the bond they once had with Moxley is gone. It's shattered. And now, Moxley is free to attack from any angle, free to wreak havoc wherever he pleases. But here's the catch, Moxley isn't under contract with WWE. That means he's a free agent, a wild card. And that makes him even more dangerous. He can show up anywhere. He can attack anyone. WWE has no idea when, where, or how Moxley will strike next. But one thing is for sure, the clock is ticking. The fallout, inside WWE's reaction. Alright, Wrestling News CC family, let's dig deeper into what's been happening behind the scenes since Jon Moxley's explosive return. We already touched on Paul Heyman's immediate reaction, walking out, looking pale, and making those frantic calls. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. WWE locker room sources say the mood backstage has shifted overnight. There's a tangible tension in the air. Superstars who once saw Seth Rollins as an untouchable leader are now questioning his position. Rumors are swirling that some WWE talents are quietly aligning themselves with Moxley's coming rebellion, sensing a seismic shift in power. And it's not just Rollins and Heyman who are feeling the heat. Roman Reigns, still recovering from recent betrayals and personal attacks, now has to worry about this new wild card entering the scene. The King of the Ring may have lost his crown, but Moxley's return throws a wrench into any hopes of him regaining dominance without a fight. The landscape of WWE is morphing fast, and the next few weeks promise to be some of the most dramatic in recent memory. Potential alliances, who will join Moxley? Now, here's the million-dollar question, who's going to side with Jon Moxley? We all know Moxley's journey has always been one of rebellion and anti-establishment energy. He thrives on chaos, and that kind of fire attracts a certain type of wrestler. Could we see someone like Sami Zayn, who has had a complicated history with the Bloodline, jumping on Moxley's bandwagon? Or maybe someone from the younger generation, like Rhea Ripley or Austin Theory, seeing an opportunity to make a name by backing the returning wild card? And what about the veterans? Could a shock alliance happen with someone like Edge or even a returning CM Punk, who might see Moxley as the key to dismantling the status quo? At the same time, Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman won't be sitting idly by. We're likely to see them recruiting their own allies, further fracturing the WWE roster into rival camps. The psychological warfare begins. Jon Moxley's return isn't just physical, it's psychological warfare. Burning the Shield contract wasn't just symbolic, it was a brutal message. It's a clear sign that the old brotherhood is dead, and now it's personal. Moxley is attacking what Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman have built, their egos, their alliances, their control. Expect to see mind games, cryptic promos, and backstage confrontations before any physical battles unfold. Moxley's style is unpredictable, he strikes when opponents least expect it. The tension will build, the stakes will rise, and fans will be on the edge of their seats. Seth Rollins, known for his cunning and tactical mind, will need to adapt fast if he wants to keep his golden boy status intact. Heyman, the master strategist, will have to dig deep into his playbook to stay ahead of this wildfire. What this means for WWE programming. So how does all of this shake out on WWE programming? Will Moxley's appearances be sporadic and wild cards, or are we looking at a full-time return to SmackDown and Raw? One thing is clear, WWE Creative now has a powder keg in their hands. This storyline has endless possibilities, from multi-layered feuds, surprise returns, to matchups we've only dreamed about. And with WrestleMania just around the corner, the timing couldn't be more perfect for WWE to capitalize on this intense rivalry. Picture a main event where Moxley faces Rollins in a no-holds-barred, brutal showdown. Imagine the fallout if Heyman betrays Rollins mid-match. Or if Moxley aligns with Roman Reigns to settle old scores and take down a common enemy. This story is a chess game, and every move could change WWE forever. Fan reactions and social media buzz. And let's not forget the WWE Universe. Fans across social media are exploding with reactions to Moxley's return. From shock and disbelief to excitement and speculation, the conversation is non-stop. Some fans are thrilled to see Moxley back, hoping he brings back the raw intensity WWE has been missing. Others are skeptical, wondering if WWE can pull off such a high-stakes storyline without it falling flat. Regardless, one thing is undeniable, Jon Moxley has reignited a fire under the WWE fanbase, and the buzz isn't dying down anytime soon. What's next? Predictions and speculations. Alright, Wrestling News CC community, it's time to hear from you. What do you think will happen next? Will Jon Moxley completely dismantle Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman? Will the Shield's legacy be destroyed for good, or could we see an unlikely reunion or redemption arc? How will Roman Reigns react to this unexpected wildcard? Personally, I predict a slow build where Moxley makes strategic attacks, both verbal and physical, leading to a massive WrestleMania showdown. The betrayal, the alliances, and the explosive battles ahead will be a must-watch. Drop your predictions in the comments below. Let's get the conversation started. Thanks for tuning in to Wrestling News CC, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any updates on this developing saga. We'll be bringing you all the latest news, insider info, and deep dives on Moxley's war against Rollins and Heyman as it unfolds. Remember, this isn't just a storyline, this is WWE history in the making. Stay with us for all the twists, turns, and jaw-dropping moments. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your minds sharp, and never underestimate the power of a man with nothing left to lose. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.